Hi guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Swindon match review. So Sunderland have just won by 1-0 against Swindon at their Stadium Light, and my God, was that a horrible game. It was absolutely awful. It was a bit dramatic towards the back end, don't get me wrong, where Swindon decided to wake up, but for the majority, it was all us. But we'll get into it and I'll explain a bit further because it sounds like we dominated in terms of shots, but we didn't. So basically, the lineup, we did go with the three at the back, which was probably the right decision, even though I did say in the preview that I would like to see us go to the four at the back. But I think it was the right decision in hindsight now because I did say if Swindon are going to sit back and allow us possession, it's okay to have three at the back. And that's what happened. Swindon did sit back. So we had Burge in goal. The back three, we had Sanderson in the middle, 09 on one side, Power in the other. I think McLaughlin may have picked up a knock over the last 24 hours or so, which forced Power to go into the back three. So we have two midfielders essentially now in our back three. Sanderson in the middle, of course. Then in front of them, they had Winchester and Scowen in the middle. On one side, they had Gooch, McFadzean on the other. And then they had McGeady and Jones with Wyke up top as well. So we're getting into the game. And firstly, they did get a free kick. They had a player, Twine, I think he's called. Is it Twine? I'm not too sure. He was a little bit of a wriggly bastard, but he was diving over and over again. He had a good free kick on him. Don't get me wrong. That's just what I was going to say. He was just diving like there's no tomorrow. Every time we're going near him, he was clever, but he threw himself into our place to make it look like it was a foul, going over far too early. A couple of them I was gobsmacked the ref even give him, but he was a clever player in that sense, but just a diving little bastard, which I actually hate those kind of players. But either way, he stepped up after 2 minutes, took a free kick. Brilliantly taken. It looked like it was heading to the bottom left-hand corner, but Burge gets down well to save it. But after that shot from Swindon in the second minute, I don't think Swindon had another shot until like the 75th minute, something like that. We controlled the game possession-wise whilst making absolutely F-all, essentially. We were so poor in terms of creating anything. Tempo-wise, we were atrocious. Winchester and Scowen were anonymous. And Scowen for me, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll be a little bit lighter on Winchester in the sense that even though he didn't get the ball as much as Scowen, Winchester was kind of sitting back and he was breaking up the play every now and then knocking the ball on and letting other people move forward. But Scowen, he was frustrating me so much. The amount of times to pick up the ball and then he's got so much grass in front of him. And you could just see in his mind, he is desperate to go backwards, and it was becoming so unbelievably frustrating. We needed an outlet from the middle to bring it to the final third, and we didn't have it because Winchester was playing the easy passes sideways, and Scowen was gagging to go backwards every time the ball come near him. He would never look forward. He'd never look forward. He looked like he's going to. Then he'd done me pull it back, and then he'd go straight back to Sanderson or Power, and then they'd have to foose it. Then that would force us to kind of hoof it forward or go down the wings, and there would be no one inside to help because Winchester and Scowen are sat just in front of the back three, so we have nothing. And then also what I noticed is because O'Brien, who has been slated in the past, you know, we say he isn't great, he doesn't do this, but he does a lot of the dirty work. And I think we noticed that this evening because what was happening was we were getting forced because the midfield were doing absolutely fuck all, i.e. Winchester and Scowen. It was forcing those hoof balls down the channels, and Wyke was doing what O'Brien used to do, which is get down and run the channels, but then he'd hold the ball, and because Wyke's out of position, he's holding the ball at the byline or by the corner flag, and McGeady, Jones and Gooch, they weren't reading the room, they weren't reading the pitch well. None of them were busting their guts to get into the box, so Wyke could be picking the ball up by the corner flag, and there's no one in the box, and even if he's in a good position to turn, which he did a couple of times, there's no one in the box at all. So just so much miscommunication. It was just there was just a whole sort of, I don't know, there was a disconnect amongst the players tonight. And it sounds like I'm speaking as if we've lost tonight, but it was just such a frustrating and horrible game to watch. You know, you'd think that with Jones, Gooch and McGeady around White, you'd think we'd be making chance after chance after chance. But no, because if I'm being completely honest, they were terrible. Jones was losing the ball and then he'd been a bit of a huff and he'd come on with, he looked like he had a bit of an ego this evening, which I didn't like. As if he just thought he was strut around, and nothing was really coming off for him. McGeady didn't really do too much either. McFadzean was the usual. He was constantly putting us back into danger. Every time he had the ball, I thought, shit, he's gonna try and play across the back here when there's Swindon players pressing, and he did do that a couple of times, nearly putting us in danger. And we were just really struggling to make anything. There was, like I said, there was a big disconnect this evening. We needed someone like a Ledbetter to sort of control the midfield and get the rest of them up. And because he has that calmness, and and that composure on the ball, and we didn't have that in Winchester or Scowen. We didn't have the runner in behind. There would be O'Brien. We did make one chance where Gooch managed to get to the byline, pulls it back for White, who did have it about 7 or 8 yards out, and he really should be putting it in the back of the net or minimum testing the keeper, and he smashed it wide. But half time, that's the only chance I can really remember. We had a couple of balls in the box that were relatively dangerous, but other than that, we were poor. And I've said it before, and people have a go at me for complaining even when we win. But it'd be hypocritical of me if I only complained when we lost. So I'll let you know, it was a terrible, terrible performance. They didn't look like they were anything. They look horrendous. I'm going to say it, and usually I give credit to opposition, even if we win or draw or lose ourselves. If I believe they deserve it, then I'll give it. But they look shocking. And said that they beat Crewe as well a couple of weeks ago, or whenever it was. They were horrendous. They didn't offer anything. They were proper Sunday League, just hoofing the ball away, just giving away throwing after throwing after throwing, hoofing the ball straight back to us. They offered now, apart from free kicks when that Twine was diving. That's pretty much it. All they had was set pieces in them. But that was the worry, because they were getting a set piece in danger position every now and then because of Twine and his fucking diving. But second half comes out, we weren't much better, exactly the same. I was screaming at Scowen. Like I said, but I'm repeating myself here, but I've never screamed so much at a TV in my life, screaming at Scowen just so many times. I'm repeating myself, like I say, but so many times where he pick up the ball, he's got so much grass to run into, and he's just constantly looking behind him. Where's Sanderson? Where's Sanderson? Where's Sanderson? Where's Power? Where's 09? We need to go backwards. I'm thinking, why? They're literally bending over. Swindon are bending over, asking for it, and we're consistently taking it backwards. What are you doing? I was going mad, and I'm sure at one point McGeady went mad at him as well, and Scowen was kind of waving him away because he was telling him to just go forward. It was ridiculous. But eventually subs come on. Maguire, which I was screaming for as well. Jones come off. Gooch looked like he picked up a bit of a calf injury. O'Brien come on. And that did change the game a bit. We started to get quality around the box. Maguire was putting quality balls in the box. That ended up paying off. Maguire got a ball in, a very good ball in. It's a great header from White to make it 1-0. And from then on, there was a couple of chances where Swindon actually had to come out. So there were a couple of times where we should have finished the game off. One time, Wyke managed to pull the ball away, and it was 3-on-1 in our favour. Wyke, he's taking his time, he's taking his time, he's taking his time. Maguire's screaming for the ball. He's given it so unbelievably late, Wyke to Maguire, and it's behind him as well. So by the time he's managed to get it under control, players have got back and they've managed to crowd him out. And that chance is gone. Another chance later on in the game as well where we broke, same thing. But this time Diamond had just come on. Maguire, edge of the box. He could have maybe laid it off to Diamond, but Diamond had run way offside, which forced Maguire to shoot himself. And they hit it hard and low, but straight at the keeper pretty much. It was an easy save. But the last kick of the game, they had a free kick from a ridiculous position. It was that Twine again, I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong. But it was a cracking free kick that beat Burge, hands down. Brilliant, brilliant free kick. And it hit the bar, and we managed to scramble it away. And we get away with the win, 1-0. Was it a good performance? No, as you can imagine. I should be happy. I should be, but I've just screamed at my TV for 90 minutes, and I'm supposed to be buzzing with 3 points, which I suppose, in hindsight, in an hour or two, I'll think, why the hell did I record that video so pissed off? But if we look at the league table, this is what will probably cheer me up. This will cheer me up a bit more, I'm sure. We'll see if some of the full-time results have come through now. They should have done. Just bear with me 1 second. Yeah, there's only one game left as I'm recording this, and that is Blackpool and Crewe. They're drawing 1-1 at the moment. But if we look at teams around us, Ipswich have won by 2-1. Ipswich, by the way, Paul Cook has just taken over Ipswich, which is a very, very good appointment for them. Let's have a look elsewhere. Doncaster have beaten Pompey by 2-1. Hull have beaten Rochdale 2-0. Fleetwood, away from home, have beaten Lincoln by 2-1. That's a massive one. And Peterborough have dropped points as well away from home against Oxford. They drew there. So what does that mean? If we have a look at the league table now, we have played 31 games and got 54 points. Pompey are a place behind us on 52, so we're 2 points ahead of them. Doncaster have 2 games in hand over us, but also 2 points behind us as well. In third, Lincoln, we are only 3 points behind them now, and we're also 5 points off second, which is, of course, Hull, but we have 2 games in hand over them. So, win those couple of games and just keep going the way we're going and grinding out results, grinding out wins. We could find ourselves in the top 2. We're still some way off Peterborough, who were flying, but they did drop points tonight, which shows they can drop points. It's not impossible for them to lose or drop points at all. We're 8 points behind them. So we keep winning, keep grinding out games like that. And, I've said before, there were games like, for example, Crewe last weekend when we played Crewe. I think under Parky, we would have lost that game. Heads would have been down after 2-0. And tonight, it looked as though there's been, it looked as though we weren't going to find a way. We found a way, and we've managed to sort of weather the very short storm that Swindon give us for the last couple of minutes as well, and sort it out for a very good 3 points. So all in all, of course, every 3 points is a brilliant 3 points. It's an important 3 points as well, but we need to improve because, my God, that was terrible. That was terrible. I think we need to mix up the midfield as well. Scowen shouldn't be playing. I think Neil should be in there. Let Winchester sit in front of the back three or the back four, whatever system Lee Johnson wants to play. Let Winchester do that. He was okay in the air, and it was Marshall in the back three. Okay, Winchester. But again, he's a sideways passer. He didn't seem too positive. He didn't really want to go forward too much. But even his sideways passing was more positive than Scowen, I tell you. So if maybe put Neil alongside him, who is a lot more positive. He's energetic. Don't get me wrong, Scowen, who I have defended a lot in the past, he's energetic. He runs around and he does the busy work a little bit in bits and pieces. But when he's on the ball, he just offers so little. And he went through a phase where he did used to break forward, but last few games he hasn't been doing that, and I can't defend him anymore because tonight was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. But again, it just shows that even when we're not playing well or particularly great, we're getting away with 3 points. So hopefully we can improve and we have a much more imposing and positive performance this weekend at the Stadium as we welcome Rochdale, and it is another team that on paper we should be beating. But yeah, that'll be my match review. In terms of man of the match, I'll give it to White, purely because he got the goal. The one tiny bit of quality throughout the game, White got it. So we'll give it to Charlie White. So what did you guys think of the game? Of course, let me know in the comments down below. And who was your man of the match as well. But if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care and stay jam.